If your emergency fund is sitting in a big bank savings account right now, you're probably losing money every single month and calling it safe. In 2026, that mistake is way more expensive than most Americans realize. A lot of Americans think the job of an emergency fund is simple. Keep cash parked, never touch it, feel responsible. And yes, the emergency fund matters deeply, but where you park that money matters too. If your cash is earning almost nothing while prices keep climbing, your so-called safe money is becoming a smaller and smaller shield. This is the thesis for today. Safety without yield is not safety. Not in a world where inflation stays sticky. Big banks still pay garbage rates, and Treasury bills can outpay your savings account by a mile. The danger is not that your emergency fund disappears overnight. The danger is slower, sneakier. It gets weaker while you congratulate yourself for being disciplined. Bank of America, Chase, Wells Fargo, Capital One on some legacy accounts, they'll happily hold your money and pay you crumbs. Then they turn around and lend at rates that would make your stomach turn. So ask yourself, why is your savings account paying almost nothing while credit card APRs are still hanging around 20% to 25%? Why does the safe option always seem to benefit them more than you? And the next number should make you angry. According to the FDIC, plenty of traditional savings accounts still pay around 0.01% to 0.10% APY. Meanwhile, even if inflation cools from its peaks, a 2026 environment with CPI running around the low to mid 3% range still means your purchasing power is going backward. Not fast enough to panic you, fast enough to rob you quietly. So no, this is not another boring open and HYSA lecture. The real issue is allocation. Too little yield and inflation eats you. Too much cash and opportunity cost eats you. Too little liquidity and one job loss wrecks you. This is about building an emergency fund that is actually defensive in the real world, not just emotionally comforting. I know, rent is insane right now. Groceries still feel rude. Insurance premiums act like they took steroids. Wages have gone up in some sectors, but not enough to make people feel ahead. The Bureau of Labor Statistics has shown shelter costs staying painfully elevated, and anyone living in a Tier 1 city already knows the spreadsheet is lying if it says inflation is normal. You feel it at the checkout line. You feel it when your car insurance renews. You feel it when one dentist visit nukes your month. That matters because the old advice was built for a different environment. Back when rates were lower everywhere, people got used to the idea that emergency cash just sits there. Fine, whatever. But 2025 and 2026 changed the math. Treasury bill yields moved. High-yield savings accounts, or HYSAs, got more competitive. Money market funds at brokers like Fidelity, Vanguard, and Charles Schwab became real alternatives for idle cash. Yet millions of people left their emergency funds marinating in dead accounts because that's where my parents kept theirs. And honestly, the real culprit is not just your spending, it's the system. Big banks make inertia profitable. They count on you not moving your cash. They count on you being busy, stressed, underpaid, and slightly intimidated by financial jargon. They know most people won't compare APY, won't check Treasury Direct, won't ask whether their safe cash is actually losing real value. I used to do this exact thing. Years ago, I left a chunk of cash in a legacy savings account because I liked seeing everything in one app. Convenient, clean, stupid. When I finally did the math, I realized I had traded thousands in purchasing power for convenience and a fake sense of control. Nothing exploded. That's the trap. Quiet losses never feel urgent. But that's only the surface. What most people miss is that your emergency fund can fail in two different ways. First, it can fail by being too small. Obvious. One medical bill, one layoff, one transmission problem, and you're swiping a credit card at 24% APR. That's quicksand. The CFPB has spent years warning about how fragile household finances are when people don't have liquid reserves. Second, it can fail by being too lazy. This is the one nobody talks about. You stack 6, 9, 12 months of expenses in a checking or low-yield savings account, inflation keeps chewing, and the cash you worked hard to build becomes less useful every year. You feel prudent. The math says otherwise. Think of inflation like a leaking bucket. Your emergency fund is water. If the bucket has a tiny hole, you may not notice for an hour. Leave it there long enough, and the level drops. Your emergency fund doesn't need to beat the S&P 500. It just needs to stop bleeding more than necessary while staying liquid enough for actual emergencies. Now, let's make this painfully concrete. Say you keep $20,000 in a traditional savings account earning 0.05% APY. That gives you about $10 in a year before tax. 10. If inflation runs at 3.2%, the real purchasing power loss is roughly $630 over that year. Same cash, same account, less real protection. Put that same $20,000 in a high SYA at 4.00% APY, and now you earn around $800 before taxes. Put a portion in a rolling 3-month or 6-month Treasury bill ladder when yields are competitive, and you may do even better depending on the spread. That difference is not cosmetic. That is your future car repair, your insurance deductible, your plane ticket home for a family emergency. And here's where the math gets uncomfortable. If you overbuild your emergency fund way past what your life actually requires, the drag gets worse. A lot of people with stable jobs, dual incomes, strong credit, and access to a Roth IRA contribution basis are still holding 12 months plus of expenses in cash because it feels mature. Mature compared to what? If your job is stable, your expenses are predictable, and your high-interest debt is not fully dead, then oversized cash can become an expensive security blanket. That's the angle almost nobody gives you. The question is not, do I need an emergency fund? Yes, you do. The question is, how much belongs in instant cash, how much belongs in high-yield cash, and how much is just fear wearing a responsible costume. My cousin learned this the hard way. He was proud of having almost a year of expenses in a checking account while carrying a car loan at a high rate and barely contributing to his Roth IRA. On paper, he looked cautious. In reality, he was running on a financial escalator going down. His cash sat still. His debt charged interest. His investments never got time to compound. He was safe in 3 different ways that all made him poorer. So what does the rich way look like compared to the poor way? Poor way? Keep all emergency money in a giant bank account paying nothing. Ignore inflation, ignore taxes, ignore opportunity cost, and call that discipline. Rich way? Separate liquidity by time horizon. Keep true immediate emergency cash instantly available. The next layer, in an HYSA or brokerage settlement fund yielding something real. If your reserve is larger because your life is more volatile, use Treasury bills for the portion you probably won't need tomorrow morning. That is not chasing yield. That is respecting math. And no, I'm not telling you to put your emergency fund in the S&P 500. Don't do that. Emergency money is not there to maximize returns. It is there to reduce the odds that a bad month becomes a 5-year setback. But reducing damage includes inflation damage too. Why do people understand that a credit card APR hurts them every month, but they ignore that low-yield cash hurts them every month too? Why does one pain feel real and the other invisible? Now let me show you the part even most financial advisors skip. Your emergency fund should be built in layers, not one pile. This changed my entire approach, because once you see cash in layers, you stop treating every dollar like it needs the same job. Step 1, build your immediate buffer. This is the money for the ugly surprises that need cash today. Think 1 month of essential expenses, maybe 2 if your income is unstable. Rent, utilities, insurance, groceries, minimum debt payments. Keep this in checking or a linked savings account where transfers are instant and boring. Boring is good here. If your monthly bare bones number is $3,500, your immediate buffer might be $3,500 to $7,000, not 12 months. Not your whole identity, just the money that buys time. Use a separate account if you need psychological distance. Ally Bank, SoFi, Marcus by Goldman Sachs, Wealthfront, and similar institutions have made this easier. Label it job loss buffer or emergency only. Make it hard to confuse with vacation money. Step 2, build your high-yield core reserve. This is where most of your emergency fund should probably live in 2026. A high-yield savings account, or HYSA, or a brokerage cash vehicle like a money market fund can keep liquidity high while paying something that at least fights back. Not perfectly, better. Compare APY, transfer speed, FDIC insurance for bank deposits, and SIPC coverage rules at brokerages so you understand what protection applies. If your target emergency fund is 6 months of essentials and your immediate buffer covers the first month or two, the next 3 to 4 months can sit in the HYSA core. Set automatic transfers every payday. Small is fine. Consistency matters more than heroics. I'll save you 6 months of research. If your cash is still earning basically zero, move it. This week, from your phone. It is one of the highest hourly wages you will ever earn on a financial task. Step 3, build your strategic overflow. This is the layer for people who need a larger emergency fund because they're self-employed, have volatile commissions, own a home with real maintenance risk, support family, or just sleep better with a deeper cushion. Fine, keep the extra layer productive. Consider a Treasury bill ladder using 4-week, 8-week, or 13-week bills through Treasury Direct or a brokerage like Fidelity or Schwab. Treasury bills are short-term U.S. government debt. You lend the government money for a short period, and they pay you back at maturity. They're liquid enough for planned flexibility, and the interest is exempt from state and local income tax, which can matter a lot in high-tax states. Stick with me because the next distinction matters. Your emergency fund is not one number. It is a timeline. Money needed today? Checking. Money needed this month? HYSA. Money you probably won't need unless life gets weird for a while? Short-term treasuries. That framework protects liquidity without letting inflation and bank complacency slap you around for free. And if you're sitting on a giant cash pile while carrying credit card debt, we need to have an uncomfortable conversation. Keeping $30,000 in cash at 4% while paying 24% APR is not conservative. It is mathematically upside down. Keep your minimum emergency layer, yes, but beyond that, every extra dollar of dead cash while toxic debt survives is like wearing a life jacket in your living room while your kitchen is on fire. One more thing most people miss. Your emergency fund target should change when your life changes. Stable W-2 job with strong benefits? Maybe 3 to 6 months. Freelancer with uneven income? 6 to 12 may be reasonable. Dual income household with one partner in healthcare and no kids? Lower need.